Yo, what's good with it? It's the homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge. Reporting live from the Doggone with the homie. Introduce yourself.
It's me, Lamin. I was actually on the first podcast.
He was on the first episode, Strange Universe. This
Right. And I've been asked to come back, and I appreciated it so much. So I'm back in action.
How do I say this? I would say the subject matter for today will be the dumbing down of America.
I can definitely agree. I don't know if it's dumbing down either. Sometimes they may want us to be at this level for better control.
But who is they?
They actually, it's funny you mention that because just like the book I just gave to you or told you about, basically, it's at this point in time, 2020, it's the technocrats. It's those.
What's a technocrat?
Those who know how the technology that we use, how to use the technology that most people don't know how it really works. Okay. So the more you know about a certain technology, which requires you to know about a certain science, the more you can control the entire population of people that are reliant upon said technology.
You know what you sound like?
What's that?
A conspiracy theorist.
No, that's technocrat is not a word that I made up.
No, I know you didn't make it up, but I'm saying like when you say them
and they,
and then
okay, well, let's put some names to it. Let's put some names to it. It don't have to be like I don't want it to sound conspiracy-like. Okay. Because first and foremost, let's be clear. There's two things. You have a conspiracy, and you have conspiracy theories. Conspiracies, there's thousands of conspiracies. That just means to conspire. There was a conspiracy to kill Julius Caesar. They conspired to kill him, and they stabbed him up, and he's dead now.
Right.
It's so many times that people conspire together for certain things. I don't have an issue with that. The issue I have is with conspiracy theories, because a lot of conspiracy theories are very unfounded. They're not based upon reality. It's based upon feelings. It's based upon things that they cannot.
Or circumstantial.
Or it's very circumstantial, or based upon their reality that they may not be fully aware of the nuances of it, and they feel as if they have the credentials to even talk about such things.
Gotcha.
That's my issue. Like I said, conspiracy theory are two different things, and in fact, it's been taken over to the point to where now, like I said, most people don't realize most conspiracy theories are wrong, like 99% of them. But because they keep coming so fast, people forget how often a conspiracy theory actually goes. It just goes to the next one, and they feel like it just gets bigger and more broader.
But you know what? I think us as humans, we're a young species. And
are we?
Yeah, I would say we are.
Okay, so you said to say it was about the dumb down of America. We're talking about science, and we're gonna talk about science and how it's being dumbed down, basically.
Right.
For example, from my understanding, Homo sapiens has been around. That's us. That's supposedly us. Of course, people don't believe it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Homo sapiens is supposed to have been around for either 50,000 to 200,000 years. Okay. Meaning, so we've been around for at least 50,000 years.
But I guess what I'm saying is, in the spectrum of life, there are things older than us.
Oh yeah.
So that I'm just saying that.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah. Don't beat me up. I know you got you were a whole Jedi Knight. I'm a part of it, man. I'm being initiated into this thing. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, I feel like one part of the human condition is just a desire to know.
I agree.
And it's like, if we don't know, we'll create something if we're not careful.
And I will push back also. A lot of times when you don't know what happens, you fear the unknown.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of fear. The more you don't know, the more afraid you are. And that's why I said earlier about the technocrats. There's certain social behaviors that are easier to control than others.
Like what?
Movements of people, your daily activities, what you watch, what you eat. You know what I'm saying? If you control the food, for example, then you have to eat what I give you.
Gotcha.
You know, we don't have our own gardens anymore. There's a lot of people who are against the GMOs. People say, "Oh, GMOs." They don't know why.
Well, rightfully so, though, right?
I mean, I don't have an issue with GMOs.
But see, like, if you have a bunch of like seedless grape, I guess what I'm saying is,
I got you. You going more so about the capitalism part of it. Is now they're making Terminator seeds. So Monsanto is one of the companies that at one point they sow seeds that they bloom and fruit and have fruit, but then there's no seeds, so you have to continuously buy seeds from. So that there's so much room for capitalism to destroy certain natural phenomena. There's so much room for that, absolutely, and we must fight against that.
That's my concern.
But the GMOs that I think most people are speaking about, for example, would be like a tomato. That still makes seeds, but because I don't know if most people know, you have an organic section, then you have everything else.
Right.
Right? What is this everything else? A lot of times, the everything else is considered GMO, or genetically modified. And a lot of genetic modified in most people's mind is you get a petri dish, you mess with some genes, you splicing, and you doing all this craziness, and it's like, yo, at first I had a cucumber and a banana, I have a cucumber banana or something.
Right.
They believe that it's spliced, when the reality is, you know what I'm saying, you can also use GMO such as hybridization.
Now what's that?
Like if you have a tomato and a cucumber, again, I don't know if you can do those two, but you can definitely put them together in terms.
So it's like splicing.
But at like your roots, or you can put a stem into one and things like different type of. It's like splicing.
Gotcha.
And that's GMO. You know, so
But see, I guess my concern with GMOs is how would that impact the human body long term?
And that's another question. So that's where really I'm glad you said that. That is where I think is the crux of the issue. Okay. Is that we just talked about the fear of the unknown. So what do we don't know? Two things at this point. We don't know what GMOs basically are, and we don't know how GMOs affect the body, right?
Which is a big scary you.
Well, I mean, when I say we, I'm talking about us. I'm not talking about those who study these types of things.
Okay.
Because there's people, for example, we talked about the dumbing down once again of American society. There's a part of general information that most of us don't even have. We talk all this crap about our schooling system, which once again, rightfully so. But then the parts of the school that actually does kind of work, such as, say, the teaching of science and mathematics, that is completely dependent on the person's ability to learn those subjects. Okay. And a lot of times those subjects, people do bad in those subjects because they're what I call ladder subjects. You have to go rung to rung to rung, and if you miss a rung, then you kind of don't know what's going on. And if you get lost, a lot of people just kind of push back against that. What happens then in society, what I believe happens, is that there's a lot of information that is just not in a person's mind. Therefore, it's get replaced with nonsense or bad science, or it gets replaced. And people, once again, nobody wants to be considered dumb. Nobody wants to be considered stupid. Nobody wants to be considered ignorant. But it's these things that you have to really say upon yourself if you really want to learn. Maybe I am ignorant about something. Therefore, it allows yourself to open yourself to learn something. Right. And I believe that's what we got into. Just like I said, the GMO in the body. That means we need to learn what genetics are. We need to learn what exactly is a plant and how plants basically operate. These aren't hard subjects. You can learn these things within a few months.
Now let me play devil's advocate with you. I think everything you're saying is 100% legit. Being scientifically literate, understanding how things, the functionality of things in the material world, the natural world. I think that's like the apex of human knowledge. You need to understand the terrain in which you live.
Right, I agree.
But if I'm sitting up here trying to pay rent, I don't even know how I'm going to eat tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to feed my babies tomorrow. I don't have, fuck what you talking about. I ain't got time.
I mean,
splicing genetic material. What the? I ain't got time for that.
And that's the rat race. It kills us in so many ways because I believe food is also power. So to not know what's going into your body I think is something you need to focus on. Find something.
But I ain't got time for that, man. I got to make this money.
You know, I feel like now we're gonna I feel like when people say they don't have time, I think that's a cop out. There's so much time because I didn't learn this. I'm
working 2 jobs. I'm a single mother. I'm working 2 jobs.
Doing what? Because I remember I used to work at a UPS store and I used to be on the computer when there's nobody there reading up stuff.
Gotcha.
But when I know people who I used to take an hour to get to work. I'd be on my phone. I see people on their phone on YouTube and Instagram. I have a book. So there's time. There's time. When you're driving to work, put an audio book on. I said, if you want to learn something, I believe, or do anything, I believe you can find 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes
really
out of the day. And I think in some of these cases, not if you really want to know, that you must know. Because if you don't know, then once again, like I said, then you're being controlled. And if you're being controlled, then you really almost have no say-so in your own
reality.
Yeah, you kind of don't. So I think that's an important thing because in the end of the day, I guess my biggest thing is how capitalism has destroyed the person and the person's reality and how they have the big questions. We don't ask no more, where are we, what are we, who are we, where are we going? We don't ask these questions anymore. Yeah, where have we been? We start to ask, hey man, when's the light bill due? Like you said, we don't ask these big questions. Therefore, when we do get the time to think about them, they're very infantile. That's the issues. We haven't thought about them a lot. Therefore, they're not going to be thought that well. We haven't had enough time to mess with them. And I think that's what it actually, at the end of the day, it does. The rat race keeps us in an infantile mentality because we don't have the amount of time necessary to actually study really the reason why we're here. Why are we here? What is the purpose?
But you know what? You one thing that I think that's very interesting about you is you see a nexus. You have made a nexus between hard science and soft science. Soft science being sociology, philosophy, hard science being things doing, chemistry, physics, the material world. And I guess I feel like a part of my education, those two never coalesced. They were always just they don't intertwine in any capacity. But you've helped me understand that both are contingent upon each other.
Absolutely. And in fact, I was telling the buddy, so what I've been doing, so right now this pandemic is actually, it revealed a lot of things, basically.
What is a pandemic?
Pandemic is I'm not a biologist.
Okay, because I have a definition. Well, go ahead.
Well, the definition that I know about it's like a disease that has jumped from one nation and now it's a global issue. That's what I heard the pandemic is. It's not contained anymore. It's, I don't know, out there.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if I'm right.
No, you are right. I wasn't trying. It was just more or less, I realize we use a lot of terms. Okay. I feel like I've assumed that people know.
Right. And that's where we at. Because we in our community, we like to meet people where they're at. Right. That's a good thing. The bad thing is that we don't have anything higher than that. We don't have a place to where we have like our own universities and colleges where we can meet people.
We got HBCUs, man.
Are they really black?
We got HBCUs, man.
I want to go to, but you've been.
Yes, I went to
tell me, were they
graduated
black,
from Georgia State though? But go ahead.
Were they black centric? Because that's really what we're talking about.
Well, okay, when you say black centric, meaning the curriculum or the funding?
I mean, I would say curriculum. Yeah, it is.
I would say the curriculum was very African centered. I would say it was compulsory for us to read.
For example, let's talk about biology, like you said. Okay. Would they have taught biology from an African perspective, or would they taught biology from, let's say, the American perspective, or Eastern perspective? What did they choose to teach for biology? Because these are black students with black teachers at a black school. Who books did they read from?
Definitely not from an African-centered perspective.
And I think
Western medicine.
Western medicine. And I think, once again, like I said, we're going to have an HBCU. That's what we lose out upon, because what's the point of having a black school? We're going to look at things from a black perspective. Because people like to, we've learned in science, I've read this all the time in the psych, they want to put diversity in science because they have realized that the more diverse the people are in the sciences, the more creative the solutions are. Because
go ahead, because you just interject. Okay, there was some roboticists at Georgia Tech and some other people dealing with hard science that were there, and they were studying self-driving cars.
I think they're talking about, yeah.
And I guess at Georgia Tech they had their own course where it was mapped out, where they had like people of different races carved out on the corners. They had their own course, and they noticed the cars, these self-driving cars, kept hitting black people.
Yep, darker skinned people.
Yes, darker skinned. Mm-hmm. And then they realized, wait a minute, this is happening because these robots or the engineering was centered, because I guess there's a whole color spectrum that robots can pick up on.
Right, it's a gradient, yeah.
Yeah, and these scientists engineered it in their own likeness.
Yes.
So I don't even want to call it scientific racism or even implicit racism. It's just you have your world and you design it as such.
Exactly. It is exactly what the issue is that we find is that when you have groupthink, so they, from the studies that they've done, I can't think of the name of the studies, but they found that black people, white people, Asian people, if it says a group of 4, for example, they found that if you all are the same race, of the same sex also, usually, that if there's a problem, that they will come to a solution fast. If you're in the same race, same gender, then solutions come fast. When you switched up the genders and races and you mix it up, the solutions come slower, but they're more different. They're
more concise.
They're not even concise. They have a broader implication. They have more widespread implication because it comes from a whole bunch of different mindsets.
It's not limited in the scope.
Yeah, it's not limited at all. So all they found out is if you want something fast, get a lot of guys together. If you want something good, you want to mix everything up.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something and that's just one of the things that we can look at. But I know from the viewers that we have, that ain't what we talking about. Most people don't believe in the medical science almost at all.
Really?
I believe so. And we are so against GMOs. We talk about GMOs.
Now, when you say we, you mean specifically
black folks. I'm used to talking about black folks. Hey, here's a good one. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Are you going to take the vaccine?
No.
Why?
I'm very leery. From what history has told, from what history has shown me, vaccines take time. Longer than a year. Longer than 6 months. Longer than a year.
It takes about 5-10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my thing is like y'all just whip this up in under a year's time. I'm concerned. That kind of concerns me.
On the other hand, I think I'll take the vaccine.
Okay.
On the other hand, I am in awe about.
Or have we just evolved that much scientifically? We can make this quicker.
So we have not evolved that much yet. But what we have done is it shows that when we all on the same page, how quick things can get done. Because most of the times, a lot of these vaccines have a long time to come about, funding, and to get all your clinical trials taken care of. Basically, you got to follow all types of rules and regulations, red tape, before you can do anything in this world.
Gotcha.
They lifted all that